Here at UTC, we strive to help each and every student achieve their full potential. Whether it's through counseling, job placements, or even making areas of campus more accessible, we want our students to know that they have a fair shot at getting exactly what they need. We provide a variety of services, which include our Student Health Services, the Disability Resource Center, the Women's Center, the University Career Services, and the Counseling and Personal Development Center. Located in McClellan Gym, our Student Health Services seek to give every student, faculty, and staff member optimum health care through clinical visits, physical exams, screenings, and many other services.
Students can come into the clinic and schedule appointments with one of our front desk staff, or if it's convenient for them, they can always call and schedule an appointment ahead of time. And then they'll get taken back into the triage room where a nurse will triage their illness and figure out what types of things we might need to provide them better care. And then we put them in an exam room, and then at that point the nurse practitioner will come in and assess the situation and order any diagnostics that are needed. Then we can make a decision as to what the diagnosis is and what the plan of care is, including prescribing medications at local pharmacies if needed. And we also have medications here that we can dispense for small fees. Here at Student Health, we try to meet all of our students' needs. We will start filing insurance in the coming year so that we're able to meet all of our students' needs utilizing their health insurance plans that they personally bring into the university.
We really take an interest in our patients, try to get to know them a little bit. Some of them have trouble adjusting to college, especially freshmen. So if it's something we can't address, we try to steer them in the right direction to counseling if necessary, or other avenues here on campus to give them that little boost they need to get them situated here at school.
The staff at the Disability Resource Center works to improve accessibility and understanding for those with disabilities both in and outside the classroom.
Once you get to the college level, a lot of times the impact of disabilities emerge and have a much broader impact, because during high school we see that a lot of students had a lot of support and they didn't even know that they were getting it. So they had people remind them when to turn papers in and remind them if things were late, or accept late homework when they didn't turn anything in. When you get to college, it's a whole different ball game, and so the impact may be seen as much more broad once they get here. We have the typical accommodations that are required under the ADA, which allows everybody to have equal access to the educational environment. Those things could be note takers in the classroom, it could be extended testing time, it could be books in alternate format, any of those types of typical accommodations.
But at one point we had a football player whose fingers, when he used a regular keyboard, would hit 3 keys at the same time.
Because his fingers were so big.
So what we did is bought a large keyboard for him to use.
But in addition, we also offer academic coaching, which is kind of like athletic coaching. We don't go out there and play a game, but we do teach you how to become the best college student you can be. So we teach study strategies, we teach reading strategies, time management, those types of things. We also have a really great adaptive technology program. What we know is that technology is the equalizer, and technology can help any student have access and to be able to produce information just like any other student. So we have a really broad range of technology available, and we train students on using that technology as well. Yeah, everybody has a different learning style, a different way to take in information, process information, and export information, whether they talk about it or write about it. So everybody processes information in very different ways, and we just want to help them find the best way to do that.
The Women's Center at UTC creates a society of diverse and empowered students through awareness, activism, collaboration, leadership, and community.
The Women's Center does a variety of different things. The biggest among it is work on gender equity issues. So we work very hard to make sure that women on campus are given all of the resources, all of the advantages that any other student would have. One of the things that we know is that women are often more likely to be victimized by gender-based violence. They're much more likely to not be in leadership roles. So we work to encourage women to be in those roles and to be as safe as possible. We have a variety of different programs that we do throughout the year. So we have things like Take Back the Night, Elect Her, Women's Action Council, which is the student organization that works most closely with the Women's Center. And it's really been a benefit to have freshmen be able to walk in and say, I have this program idea, can we do this? And everybody goes, sure, let's just see what it takes to make it happen. It's really intended to be a space where people feel safe and comfortable to just hang out, have discussions, really just enjoy being together and building a community.
Through the University Career Services, students and alumni are provided free resources to get that dream job they've always desired.
Welcome to UTC. This is a fantastic organization. We're excited about what we're trying to do. Every year we're going to be providing up to 12 career fairs. We want to include our alumni and bring in our employers to make sure that students have an opportunity to develop relationship and rapport with the folks they're going to be interviewing with and working with for a long, long time afterwards. We really advocate three buckets. So the first bucket is career education, understanding what I'm good at, what I'm interested in, and maybe what the world needs. But I think building on that, the second bucket is career readiness. And so after a student has gone through some preliminary exploration work, maybe they've taken a few courses closer to their major, maybe they've done some volunteering in the community, they'll usually have a better understanding about what might be required long-term for their career success. So we want to come alongside and supplement the readiness activities with strong communication skills, project management, people management, talent management, critical thinking, literacy, etc. We want to ensure that our students are well equipped to be successful long range in life. And then the third bucket we want to really focus on is career connections. It's not enough for the junior or the senior to come for services. We really want first-year students to come into our office and partner with us and describe maybe an ideal scenario where they're working in finance, or they're working in marketing, or they might be working in accounting or in medicine or in engineering, whatever their desire is. And there's a very good opportunity that we're going to be able to come alongside with someone from the community, an employer, or maybe there's an agency, that they can really begin to explore that in a very practical way. What I know about college students is that they're really not going to do it until they have to. What we want to try to do is reduce the barriers so that the students feel like they have some agency to kind of choose their own adventure, if you will, and really find some early success that's only going to contribute to ongoing exploration and development. At UTC, we really want to provide every opportunity to support and, yes, to challenge your students, challenge yourselves to really go forward and dream big dreams.
At the Counseling and Personal Development Center, our staff helps students better understand themselves and the world around them.
So the bones of it is they should absolutely come see us over at the Counseling Center. You can come in. We typically see students and individuals from about 9 a.m. in the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have intake hours where we can schedule you to come in to do an initial intake and meet with a counselor, and then schedule you for further appointments. We do have opportunities after hours for crisis if an individual experiences crisis. But for the most part, what we like to have folks do is come visit us, make appointments, and have you come in for a scheduled time. That way you can sit down and really have some dedicated conversation with a professional to figure out what will best serve you. We do short-term solution-focused counseling for individuals dealing with issues related to anxiety, test anxiety, transitions to school, maybe situations they haven't previously encountered, living with a roommate, maybe encountering drugs and alcohol in a different capacity. So those are some of the issues that we deal with. We provide the counseling services. We do some psychological testing. It's rather limited. We can do consultation with regards to things like choosing a major, or maybe even switching a major later on once you decide that maybe that major isn't, or that career choice isn't good for you. We can do some initial assessments with regards to career, but by and large, when we do that type of work, we tend to ask people to go to the Career Counseling Center to get more intensive services with that. We do handle crisis situations, so we do have opportunities for individuals when they do find that they're in crisis that we can do some initial triage work with that. There could be some emergent situations where we need to get them to a higher level of care, but we definitely can do that initial treatment. And then we also have a psychiatric nurse practitioner on campus, so that way we can handle any sort of medication management that we might need for individuals who are already established on medications, or maybe needing to look at some medications as they deal with the transition to college. There is no expense for students for counseling services. It's one of the benefits that you get as a student here on campus. With the psychiatric nurse practitioner, if you're coming in for any kind of medication management, there are some fees that are associated with that because those are not covered by student fees. Certain tests that you may take may have some fees associated with that, but we've worked fairly hard to make sure that a lot of the tests that are most common are in fact part of your fees and free for students. Counseling is really about the developmental life process, and so as counselors, our belief is that people go through their life and there are certain hiccups in your development. And so one big hiccup is coming to college, and people can do very well in that transition, and sometimes people have issues, and that's normal. It's okay to have those issues. Asking for help can be really hard. People come to counseling because something's not working, and it's not working so much they need to come talk to a stranger, and that feels really scary and uncomfortable. The reality is we're here to give you the opportunity to express yourself in a confidential way, to instill hope, so that way things can change and be better, and we'll do our absolute best to help facilitate that for an individual as they want change. The reality is most people have many of the skills that they need, and maybe they need some tweaks and coping mechanisms, but they can make it through that process, and any given person has those resources, and any resources they're lacking, we'll do our best to figure out how we can help you to gain those resources.
We provide these services because we care about every student, faculty, and staff member. Only through an accessible, healthy, empowered campus will we truly be able to achieve together.